The corrupted mind of Ye 9.3, a clone too self-important to live. Whistleblower comes forward Kanye cloning proof. Ties to Tony Robbins? It starts with a reflection, a simple compulsion. Not just any reflection, mind you, a high-tech cyber mirror, but a floor-to-ceiling, high-resolution, AI-enhanced, neuroreactive reflection device installed in the penthouse of the Omega Sky Fortress, floating just off the coast of Malibu. The mirror is the problem. It always has been, because something inside the brain of Ye 9.3, the latest and most unstable in the long-failing Kanye West clone experiment, malfunctions every time he sees himself. A spike in a very specific region of his mind, an unnatural surge of ego feedback loops, warping his sense of identity into something beyond repair. The scientists who built him have a name for this now: Omega Importance Syndrome. Every previous clone has failed for the same reason. Every previous version of Kanye West has met an untimely, tragic, and often humiliating death. And Year 9.3 is no different. 1998, the prototype. Year 1.0, the overconfidence catastrophe. The first Kanye West clone was supposed to be the future. Back then, it was just called the next one, a biologically enhanced, music-producing, culture-disrupting wunderkind, engineered to have the creativity of Mozart, the swagger of Muhammad Ali, and the business mind of a Rothschild. But something went wrong. Instead of harnessing his genius, he developed a feedback loop of self-importance so overwhelming, he started convincing himself that he had created the human species. After spending 3 weeks locked in a hotel room, staring into a full-body gold-plated mirror, repeating the phrase "I am" in different vocal pitches, he refused to eat, refused to sleep, and refused to speak unless it was in third-person prophetic declarations. When Ye 1.0 was finally extracted from his self-made chamber of divinity, his heartbeat had synced with a BPM of 808, and his brain was no longer operating in a way the scientists could measure. They had no choice but to shut him down. And so the first clone failed. But the world never knew. 2004, Ye 2.0, the Grammy Greed Fatality. The second attempt at Kanye West was almost perfect. This version could write hits. He could rap. He could talk himself into any room. The Grammys became an annual slaughterhouse. Trophies piled high like skulls in a conqueror's tomb. But success wasn't enough, because Year 2.0 had one fatal flaw: the inability to process loss. The night he lost Album of the Year to U2, the program began to fail. Scientists monitoring his vitals noticed an immediate white ego fracture. An internal collapse of self-perception so violent it caused cerebral overheating. The next morning, Year 2.0 was found standing in the middle of an awards after-party, shirtless, dripping in sweat, clutching a Grammy trophy, muttering, "If I hold them all, they can't give them to nobody else." His heart rate spiked to 300 BPM. His brain activity became unreadable. His body seized up like an overheated hard drive. He collapsed. Year 2.0 was gone, but the world still didn't know. 2010. Ye 3.1, the Kardashian collapse. The third clone lasted the longest. He had reached the pinnacle of power. A marriage to Kim Kardashian, an empire of sneakers, a creative dynasty built on controversy and spectacle. But with great success came even greater instability, because Year 3.1 was constantly at war with himself, with the industry, with reality itself. At first it was harmless mania, Twitter rants, $100 white t-shirts, random presidential campaign announcements. But then, it spiraled. At a private party in the Hollywood Hills, Ye 3.1 was seen cornering a terrified Elon Musk, ranting about how the moon landing was a metaphor for white sneakers. At a New York fashion event, he told Anna Wintour she was a low-vibration spirit demon because she didn't like his new line of hobo-chic aluminum foil ponchos. Then he did the unthinkable. He stopped putting out. No, not music. He stopped sleeping with Kim. He became celibate for creative reasons. This was the breaking point. Kim Kardashian filed for divorce, triggering an emotional overload in Yi 3.1's neural processors, sending him into a full-system meltdown. He wandered into the desert for 3 days, barefoot, wearing only an oversized Balenciaga garbage bag and carrying a single hard drive containing unfinished beats. His body was found motionless in a Vegas casino bathroom, surrounded by crumpled Yeezy prototypes. And so Yi 3.1 was deactivated. The world noticed something was off, but the machine kept moving. And so another clone was made. 2023. Yi 9.3, the final malfunction and the great ego storm. The 9th and final Kanye West clone is the most dangerous. He has learned from his past failures. He has one goal: to reach the DeepMind servers and upload himself, an immortal ego AI, living forever in the shadows of the grey web. He is unstoppable, unhinged, unrepentant. His ego has reached 97% capacity. If it hits 100%, the world ends. Because when an ego this large collapses, it does not die quietly. It detonates, a black alert, ego storm, an existential singularity so intense that it shatters all human self-perception, leaving society unable to function. And so, Yi 9.3 runs through the underground circuits of Hollywood, through the back rooms of secret elite parties hosted by Tony Robbins, the dark mastermind behind the entire Kardashian dynasty, through the tech labs of Elon Musk trying to steal the last functional brain-uploading technology before Neuralink cuts him off. But it's too late. The moment he enters the server, his omega importance syndrome reaches critical mass. His self-awareness expands past human limits. He is the god of himself. And for the first time in history, he doubts it. The program fails. And with it, so does everything else. Aftermath, the great ego collapse. The world sighs in relief. Hollywood reboots itself. The Yi clone experiment is buried, the files locked away in the deepest chambers of the Department of Defense. Some say he left one last mixtape hidden somewhere in the grey web. Some say his consciousness still lingers in the abandoned corners of deep AI servers. Some say that if you play My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy backwards at the right frequency, you can hear the sound of him screaming. But what is certain? No one ever danced to it.